Okay, you guys, so I am coming to you from my mother-in-law's house in Baton Rouge, Louisiana over Thanksgiving. I hope you guys are having a really great Thanksgiving yourselves. But I really needed to get this video done for your first day back to art this month. We've got like a theme called Colorful Christmas, and we're going to be doing some really fun, colorful stuff, okay? So this first one's going to be a reindeer drawing, and you will have some options as to how you draw it, okay? But you might be able to check and see that there is some gold sheen to it. So we're going to do some watercolor, some drawing, some watercolor, and then some gold and white accents, okay? So you're going to get a paper that looks like this. At first, you'll have the sunglasses drawn with a star in the middle, but they will not be in Sharpie. You will trace yours in Sharpie. I just went ahead and traced mine so you can definitely see what I'm doing, because I know sometimes it's hard to see on the screen when I draw in pencil. Now I'm going to draw mine like this because we're going to go to the nose next. But if you wanted to give yours a more rounded Rudolph nose and make it red, you could do that, okay? That was something that I was thinking about that I thought would be really cute. So you're going to line it up here, and it's almost like a trapezoid kind of shape. It goes right here. You could make it a little wider and a little skinnier. And it is kind of hard to draw like this, so just FYI. And then the nose kind of goes around like this. And then I brought a line down and kind of did that. Now you can see how I'm going over my lines again and again. And that is how, when you trace, if you want it to have this kind of sketchy look, that is how you can do it. And then I'm going to give it a chin. You could give a little tongue stuck out or something if you want. And then the sides of the face kind of go up like this. And when I traced those, I kind of did a jagged line like that. Okay, and then the neck comes down from the edges of the sides of the face. You don't want to bring it way in and give him a really skinny neck. His neck needs to support his whole head, right? The hat next. You really need the hat in place. So I'm going to draw kind of like the top of the hat. It kind of curves. If you look, it comes up high and then comes back down lower. Yours does not have to do that, okay? And if you wanted it to be wearing a little beanie, you could do like a beanie up here. You would just draw like this part and then do like a U right here and a little pom-pom on top. But I'm gonna make mine start here and come up high, and then it's gonna kind of come down low like this. And I'm leaving a little edge of the glasses because that's where the ears are gonna go. You see how there's like a 1 finger edge on each of these, okay? And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to draw it. And you can do these kind of squiggly lines, or you can draw them smooth if you want to. It's up to you. I kind of like this sketchy look. Okay, now we're going to draw the ears and then we'll finish the hat. We really needed this part in place first. So I'm going to draw kind of like a triangle ear that comes out like this, and then the inside of the ear. And then a triangle ear that kind of comes out like this, and then the inside of the ear. He kind of looks like a llama right now. I think he looks like a reindeer, especially once we add the antlers. But right now he looks a little bit like a llama. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the top of the hat, and it comes down, up, and then down. And then you've got the pom-pom right here, which is just like a circle. So what you can do, you can draw kind of like a loose circle like this, and then kind of go around it like that. And again, I don't care that all these sketchy lines are happening, because they're just going to add to my picture as far as I'm concerned. Y'all can do it however you want to, but I'm even going to add a few more. Okay. And then we need the antlers. The antlers are what makes it look really like a reindeer. So this one's going to come up and out of the picture. And then this one's going to come up and out of the picture. And then I'm going to draw a letter V and a letter U. Okay, same thing over here. This one's going to come up and out of the picture. This one's going to come up and out of the picture, a letter V, and then like a letter U. And then I don't have the sketchy lines there, so I need to come back in and add some. Okay, so at this point, you're gonna outline it. If you want a nice smooth outline, you just outline everything nice and smooth. If you don't want any of this sketchiness, you don't have to. And then these are called expression lines. So you can come back in even and add some more lines, but you don't have to. And then the next step will be, we're gonna watercolor them, okay? So we'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, so to paint our reindeers, I'm gonna show you a few things that I did, okay? First of all, you're gonna get your really colorful, because our theme this month is Colorful Christmas. Now you can go traditional and you can do mostly reds and greens, and that's fine. I did a little funky with some pink. This is pink with some red in it. I used blue around the edges of my trim. I did the hot pink glasses, but you don't have to do it that way. You could do something else, okay? So I'm just gonna give you a little short demonstration and then you guys will start to watercolor, okay? So remember, we're gonna get our paintbrush wet. And you want your paintbrush wet for these to work, right? And then I'll show you how I did the hat. So I did the hat hot pink. And I just came through and painted it, right? And that was turning out a little too light, so I got more water and more paint. So a lot of times we keep going back for paint and not more water, and that gives you a really dark hue, and that's fine. But if you never get more water, it's not going to spread very well, okay? And then I took some red and I just did like a red shadow on it. So even when I'm doing these brighter colors, I'm still thinking of using like any kind of color to shadow and stuff, shade with, okay? Now you can just leave this white, and we are gonna do some gold accents later because I do have a gold accent right there. So I could just leave it white and do a gold accent, but I'm also gonna show you I got a lot of water on my brush and I used this lighter blue, and I just did a little bit of shading around the edges. And some of the hat color got in there and kind of made it purpley, and that's okay. And then you can also just dab a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna start painting stuff. I would recommend you make the antlers a lighter color than the body. All right, and at the end, I'm gonna give you gold and white to do the snow and the gold flecks. So you go paint yours, I'm gonna paint mine, and we'll come back and we will add our gold accents and our white flecks at the end, okay? All right, y'all keep going. Okay, so now I'm done with that, and even though it's still wet, we're gonna go ahead and do our gold and white stuff, okay? So you will get some gold paint. I chose to paint my sunglasses gold. If you wanted to do them in Sharpie, you could have done them in Sharpie. We will try to tell you that ahead of time. It'll be a lot easier to do them in Sharpie. If you wanted them a different color, like hot pink or something, you can absolutely do them that. So like I said, we'll try to tell you ahead of time. I did not tell you ahead of time in the video that you do not have to do gold glasses. You could also do gold glasses and a gold star. That would be fine. So we're gonna give you just a little smidge of gold paint. And what I did was I painted my glasses, and I'm not being super careful right now because I'm in a hurry, but it'll be okay. And then I came back and I did like little gold accents along some edges. So like edge of ear, along the edge of this, the antlers, edges of here, okay? I did some along here, some in the hat. You could do some on the nose. You're just doing little accents. You're not filling the whole thing in. And then you can take a little water on your paintbrush and you can mix it with your gold. And you can do some little splatters if you want to. Mine's not wanting to splatter right now. Yours will probably splatter better than mine. There we go. How about that? Depending on your paintbrush, you might need to flick it. Look at how cool that looks. Okay, and then once you're done with that, I'll give you some white. And you can flick your white, you can splatter it. I used the end of it and did little dots everywhere like snow, just since I have the splatters everywhere with the gold. I thought maybe a more controlled situation with the white. That's up to you. Okay, so we're gonna finish them up and put them in the drying rack. We'll get your picture before you leave with them. I know these are gonna look so cool. I can't wait to see them.